Assembly video of the LumberMate LM30 Norwood Sawmill. And here's the instruction manual. Couldn't use that. Okay, so here's our instruction manual. We are going to use it. There's a lot of bolts, there's a lot of parts, and we don't want to put something together wrong the first time that we have to take back apart to assemble the right way later. Or we could just look at the pictures. There's all your bolts, bolt sizes. Well, not only are there a lot of bolts, there's a lot of different size bolts. All right, here we go. So, bed, cross, bunk, assembly. So it looks like we're assembling the frame first. I think you have to have a level ground. I mean, you should be on level ground to do this, as level as possible. We don't have very level ground here, but level enough. We can adjust things as we get the trailer frame going. We can loosen things up and adjust, and it'd be nice to get it all level the first time. Perfect. I don't see that happening. Oh, I got those. I'm not going to use them though because I have a trailer. So what I'm trying to figure out is, if you have the trailer, do you assemble the trailer first and then assemble mill on top of the trailer here? Getting everything laid out. Got the trailer frame laid out now and part of the sawmill frame. I'm going to start putting this thing together. Well, it's raining right now, so I'm in the old truck staying dry with the instruction manual. But I thought there was something here important to point out that they don't tell you factory, or maybe they do and I just don't realize it, but they sell extra bunk, and I did order an extra bunk. However, when you order just a machine without the trailer, you get 5 bunks. So I ordered an extension, 4-foot extension, so I get 1 extra bunk with it. Plus, I ordered a trailer kit, which comes with 3 bunks. And along with the extension, I had to get the trailer frame kit that extends it 4 more feet. And that came with an extra bunk. So when the frame is on top of the trailer chassis, there's gonna be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bunks. And I have an extra, so that's 11 total bunks I'm gonna have on there. I don't know how that's gonna work out. It might be too many. I might have to leave one off. I don't know, we'll see. But I thought that would be important to point out. Don't order extra bunks if you get a trailer. I slightly deviated from the plans a bit. Since I don't have level ground, I'm just gonna build the trailer, level it out, and build the chassis on the trailer. May work, may not, I don't know. We're gonna find out though, but it's nighttime. We'll continue this tomorrow. Well, so I slightly deviated from the instruction, and I don't care. We're gonna continue on building. So here we are so far. I know you're supposed to assemble the chassis or the log deck frame first on level ground. We really don't have any level ground, so I went ahead and put the trailer together. It's not completely tightened down yet. I do have the jacks and it's up in the air, and I don't have the wheels on it yet. But I figured since I don't have a flat surface, I can easily level up the trailer with the frame on it. So I'll just put everything together and keep it loose, and then level the trailer out and make sure the deck, we'll use the string and from one end to the other to check the levelness. Then we'll start tightening everything down. Hopefully it works. If not, we can just redo it. It don't matter. So at this point, we're assembling the cross bunks. One I've already put together. Here's all the pieces here. It comes with a big bag of bolts. Assemble all those, and then I'm gonna stick each one of these rails onto the trailer going down. I'm gonna just soft install them, and then I'll start installing these to that on the trailer itself. We'll get everything on there installed nice and loosely. That way we have room for adjustment later. I wish I had my tripod. I would do a time lapse on this, but I cannot for the life of me find my tripod. I'm just gonna assemble each one and keep you updated on it and talk about it a little bit each time I do something or do a different step. So in the illustrations for the trailer itself, you basically assemble the frame and drop it right on top of the trailer frame. You bolt it together with the 3/8 bolts, but it's kind of staggered from the bunks on the trailer itself. And like I said before, you know, I did notice I did order extra bunks, but I really don't need them because the trailer itself has bunks. So when you put it together, you have plenty of bunks. But I am gonna have a separate one I'm gonna put up front for really short logs or cutting cookies. But here's the layout. It kind of just sits right on top of the trailer frame. So I assume I can just build it on top of the trailer frame, level it all out there instead of on the ground. And that way I'm not bending over and sitting on my knees and crawling around, because we're not on concrete and it's been raining for the last 2 days, so the ground's pretty nasty. So this will kind of get me up off the ground anyway. Be a little easier to put it together. The initial instructions show to lay everything out, you know, put together as far as the cross bunks and side rails. But yeah, we kind of did that. Not really, but we're going to do that. But we're going to do it on the trailer. So here's where we're at. Just this front section is bolted on just to align up the rest of it. But these parts are just laying here on the frame. They're not bolted down, they're just laying there. So when I get ready to bolt it all up and attach the cross members or the cross bunks to it, it'll tie it all together. So this side, I just put the top rail on and started a bolt here and there. Nothing is attached to the trailer actually yet, so because the trailer will still need adjusting too. If you look, a lot of these holes don't align up because these trailers have these wedge bolts and then these big carriage bolts here. So everything's kind of loose right now because I'll have to adjust the trailer forward and backwards each section of the frame to align with those holes. But we're going to put the frame together first, get it tied all in. I'm not going to tighten it down yet until we get the trailer adjusted to the right length. Then we're going to tighten the top frame down, or the saw bed, or the lumber bed, whatever you want to call it, the sawmill bed. We're going to straighten it up, make sure all these pieces line up. Then we're going to tighten it down to the trailer. So I'm not good at following instructions, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that aren't either. I just skimmed through all the instruction book and kind of looked at how everything was going together, and I did read it, but I don't try to read it step by step. I go through everything, and if there's some details that I don't understand or not sure of, I'll go back to it. But I'm just laying the rails down on the trailer, just kind of where they go. You see the small rails are still down. I hadn't put the bolts in those yet. But as I put it together, like the front here, I'll tie everything down with the cross bunks. That's all going to be tied together and bolted together and kind of leveled up before it's bolted to the trailer, because the trailer itself has to be adjusted as well, because all the bolt holes have to align. See, they don't line up right now. We've got these wedge bolts and the carriage bolts. We can slide the frame in and out, adjust it to different lengths to make it match up to the saw frame. So now we have all the rails somewhat assembled, loosely assembled. I don't have them tightened down yet, but they're all put together kind of where they need to be. I'm going to start tying them together with the cross bunks now. Something I do recommend, if you don't already have one of these things. It's a 3/8 drive. You can get a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch as well. But it's just a little cheap electric impact. I got that one from Harbor Freight. I think it was like 50 bucks or something. I can't remember. But those things are awesome. If you put one of these mills together, that thing is a must. If you don't already have one, get one. Anticipate this in your order of a sawmill. If you can buy a sawmill, you can buy one of these. So it will make life so much easier. So here's everything roughed in, put together loosely. I got all the bolts, well, not all the bolts started, but I've got enough bolts to hold it together just so I can get an idea of where I'm going next with it. I got my extra cross bunk. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet. I may put it up here right behind the trailer hitch. I've got a section right in here. Those 4 bolts behind the hitch mount. Everything's kind of loosely put together. Nothing's tight yet. I'm going to start tightening up the joints and get everything level, sort of. I got a lot more stuff to do before I put the tires on, but I just wanted to, my ADHD got the best of me. Shiny tires sitting over there, I had to put them on. Just a visual. I'm going to find a socket. So now I have all the frame rails on, all the cross bunks except for my extra. I've got bolts started. Actually, I tightened them down. I leveled all the edges or where they meet and snugged them down just to semi-level it. So I'm going to get all the bolts in it, get them started up, and I'm going to take it down off the jacks. Actually, no, I'm going to keep it how it is right now, and I'm going to level the bed. I'm going to get my level and some string. I'm going to level everything out and tighten it down as good as I can. And it's not attached to the trailer yet, so what I'm going to do is once I get the deck completely level, I'm going to lower the trailer down off the jacks onto the tires, and I'm going to loosen up these trailer bolts and slide these around to get those holes to line up. And then I'm gonna level the trailer with the deck and then snug it all down. It's pretty good and level all the way down. The string, I just put it a bolt length above the rail, or a nut length. All right, I got this side straight. We got a level line on there, leveled everything out. We got all the bunks on, everything on this side is tight. The other side I'm still working on, so I'm doing one side at a time. Everything seems to be going pretty smooth. I definitely recommend doing it this way if you're like me, you don't have a flat spot, or if you just have the trailer. Because I mean, I could lift this thing up and put it on here with the Bobcat afterwards, but I guarantee you there's no way to keep this frame straight while you pick it up with a Bobcat or skid steer and bring it over and stick it on top of this frame. It just seemed a whole lot easier for me to assemble it on the trailer itself rather than doing the trailer last and then sticking it on top of it. It's worked out good though, so everything went together real easy like this. I didn't have to do a lot of bending over. See, I can get the tires jacked up off the ground. I got it up pretty high, so it's right here. I can touch it. I don't have to bend over, so no back straining. Extra bunk on is still sitting right over there, but I hadn't decided where I'm going to put it. I'm probably going to put it right there in that little section right in here for now, and if I want to move it later, I'll move it. That's kind of a dead section. It's not tying any frame together, so it'd be a good spot for it. Other than that, I'm about to level the other side out. I got the trailer frame all adjusted. I got everything tight down on this side. I've got it tight the other side. I'm gonna level the bed on that side, get it tweaked in perfect before I do this side. All right, here's where we at. Per the instruction manual, we're at the saw head and carriage assembly section. So we're ready to install, well, assemble that. But first, let's show you what I got. We got the frame on here. We got the log deck leveled up. We got the trailer frame leveled up. We got all those installed. I saved you the boredom on these. There was just 4 bolts, and you had that one big carriage bolt with a nylock nut on them. I put my cam dog on there. Got everything on. Put my log stops, and these are a cool new feature. These weren't on my last mill, but I did have 3 of these on my last mill, but I didn't have the extension. Instead of moving this one all the way back to here, I put it one bunk up, just so if I have a short can or something, I can throw it on there and saw them up. So I think I'm gonna get another log stop for the rear of the machine, because I know with my last machine, it did not have this 4-foot extension, but when you got logs back here at 13 and a half foot, the heads up and shook pretty bad, and sometimes I wish I could just kind of had locked those down somehow. That's it for now. Sorry this is taking a little longer than expected. We had to stop and check on the greenhouse today because we had a lot of wind blowing, and we had to make sure it was secure, and it's not, but it's stable. Just wanted to show where I was at on this. I cut a lot of the video out because I got real into working on it and leveling things out with the string and all, but it's looking good. It looks like a trailer now. Looks like a deck of a sawmill anyway. These jacks are nice. My last one only had the drop downs. It didn't have the jacks. So this one's already better. I gotta put the trailer tongue on it, put my lights and all that good stuff on. That's gonna be last though. First thing I'm gonna do is I've got my, wherever it's at, quick log, rolling dogs, whatever they call them. Those things, wherever they are. I'll have to find the box and all the mess. And this right here. I'm going to pause on the main manual and get ready to assemble this stuff, because I want to put those on the bunks before I put the main saw carriage and all on. So this will be next. All right, here's the instructions for this stuff. This is the rapid dog and rolling system. That's what we're going to do next. Get Bonnie out there chasing chickens. She's getting some plants ready for the greenhouse and can not keep the chickens out of them. They've already dug them out one time when she walked off, and they're eyeballing, waiting for her to move.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. And our dog, our guardian dog, our guard dog is supposed to be, he's trying to drink the water out of the watering thing. God, it's weird. Let's get back to this.
Leaving.
Here's something interesting to point out. These roller bolts, apparently there weren't enough in the box. Maybe they ran out at the factory, I don't know. But they did throw in some Allen bolts that don't show on the book anywhere. So I guess that's what they're for. That's what I'm using them for. Unless I find out they go somewhere else. Rapid roller dog system's done. Oh, we're losing light and I'm hungry. Continue tomorrow. All right, here's day 3 of my mess, putting the sawmill together. So yesterday we finished putting the frame together. We got the rapid dogging and rolling system installed yesterday. If you saw, we're missing some bolts. I guess they actually substituted some of the bolts with these Allen bolts. And I've got one here of a hex bolt because I needed it I put the wrong bolt in that thing. That one's countersunk Allen, and I had to get so these will fold down like that behind the thing. But anyway, these bolts actually are probably better because they're not as long. So this thing will actually slide onto the bunk here and I can take it off when I'm not using it easily. The other one that had the hex bolts were a little longer. So it doesn't sit all the way down. I'm just gonna cut the heads off the bolts. What I assume is, it says it's compatible for this mill, but I did notice that the HD 36 and 38 have the skinnier bunks, so that fits on them better, I guess. With this one, it's got the wider bunk. The bolts kind of get in the way, so it sits on top of the bolts. I'm just gonna cut the ends of the bolts off behind the plate here and make that work. So, but if I don't, it doesn't slide all the way down on there. And these don't stay on there the whole time you're cutting. Only when you're cutting smaller stuff. It just makes things quicker. You take them off, I guess, when you're not using them. When you're using the regular dogs. And I got these bolts that tighten down to the bunk to keep it from moving. Just gonna pull that off and pull this up and show you what I'm talking about with the bolts. It's not light. So if you can see those bolts inside there, quite a bit longer than the Allen ones. So the bunks kind of sit right on top of the bolts. So I'm going to cut those bolts off a little bit. I'll try to do it while it's on, but I don't know if I can get anything down in there. I might have to pull each one off, but we're going to try that out and see if we can make it where we can get this thing on and off real easy. But that's where we're at right now. So all the trailer is assembled, all but the lights and that one big mounting bracket for the loading system and the hitch, which is just 4 bolts really. What we're going to do is put the mill on. We're going to build the carriage first, put it all together, and then I'll put the hitch on and wire everything up. Now, one piece I wasn't sure what it was, and I didn't have this on my last mill, is that big funky shaped thing right there. That's actually the receiver for the loading system, the log loading system with the winch and all. So this goes underneath the sawmill, and there's 2 plates that hook on the inside and come back out to the edges, which I cannot find those plates yet. I haven't seen them anywhere. I'm sure once I clean some of this mess up and start throwing some of these boxes away, maybe I'll find them. But I've dug and dug pretty hard and I have not seen them anywhere yet. Like I said, maybe they're in here somewhere. I don't know. Like, I mean, look, we just found a dog in the boxes. You know, where'd he come from? I don't know. Maybe it's in here. Oh, and I still have the roller tub boards. I haven't put those on yet. Those will be coming here next. Actually, I'll probably put those on before I put the head together or the carriage together. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, assembly for the roller toe boards. We have a micro assembly manual here in the box of the rollers. So we're gonna start putting those together and installing those on the mill now. So this is the manual jacking roller toe boards. This is pretty much the extended instructions. There's some wording there. I don't feel like reading, so I'm just gonna look at pictures. Not that many parts, so can't be that hard. Let's see if we can put it together. And there's our bag of bolts. Not that many, a couple pins. I don't think this is gonna be too hard. We're starting by putting the rollers on with this long pin. And it's hard to do this with no tripod in one hand, so I'm going to spare you the pain. So the pin is in, the rollers are on, and you have a couple of cotter pins we stick in the ends here, like so, and then we bend the bottoms, and that'll pretty much be done for one end, just like that. So I gotta grab some pliers real quick and bend those. Yeah, one-handed, got it. All right, the pins are in, rollers together. Next, we've got this slider assembly. There's a couple of shims in here. I'm guessing we add those and take them out as it wears. I don't know. Or maybe it's not enough gap in there. I don't know. We're gonna put them all in and see if they have play in them. So they're gonna show right there, number 12 is the shims. We'll add a couple in and see if it's tight. Too tight, we'll add the other two. But we will add some in because as this thing wears out, which I doubt it's gonna wear out. I mean, you're talking about something that might wear in 20 years, if that, if you use them every day. But we're gonna add them in there, and if it ever gets loose, we can take those shims out and it'll tighten it back up. Or we can just replace the entire assembly, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll put these together. All right, I put it all bolts in, started all those, kind of reassembled it, and I'll tighten it up next. Tighten these up. Torque. All right, so that's that piece. I did not put all 4 shims in. There's a couple more there. I put 2 in. That's pretty much all it is. So we're gonna assemble this or put this on the mill first before we put the rollers on. So I'm gonna have to order another bunk eventually. I don't like how the jack stands go on the front side, back side. My last one had them on this side, and it made it much more convenient. Plus it's kind of in a way, and they hang really low, but I don't have to have this bunk right here. That was my extra. I just stuck it here for whatever reason. I don't know how far the sawmill is going to be, or the blade is going to be up on the tree yet. So, but I'll probably move this one to here, to this section, flip it around the opposite direction, and put this jack on the back side of it. But then I might be too close to this one, so I don't know. I'm going to put it together like this first. I don't like how low these sit, but I'll put it together like it's supposed to be first. We'll look at it, play with it, and eventually I'm going to swap this stuff around. I don't think these or those were designed for this mill. I don't know. My last jacks were completely different than these. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm going to put it together and we'll see. There. And I did have to put in those second sets of shims because the roller bar didn't slide in there freely. So instead of not putting them in there, I'll put them in there. Yeah. All right, that sure hangs low. We hit a stump or something, tree driving down the road. I just don't like how these sit. I swear my other ones sit way higher. They were on this side and they were tilting instead of just straight up. And there it is. Maybe these lift a lot higher because the other ones just tilted a little bit. Which I don't see why I would lift it that high, but
you never know.
Now put the jack on it. All right, so pretty much done with the trailer and frame here. Time to start assembling the carriage. So here we go with the 2 main plates. All right, putting the carriage together. Got this part on. I hadn't tied my wheels down yet. Bonnie helped me sit that on there. Got it clamped so it doesn't roll because it was taking off down the end. That's where we're at now. We got all these other parts now. Not much left to put together, but the carriage, the saw head, is going to be the real pain in the butt. So I guess we're on to that. All right, so we jumped ahead a little bit. We got the carriage on, well, the base frame of the carriage. Once we got the post and everything on, then we put the winch on, the lifting winch, which is, you got rollers in there, the bearings, your cables, your little pulleys, and this thing. So got both sides, 2 cables on each end. Put the handle on. It's got a weird little tensioner in there. It's like a cable tensioner with a nut on top to tension the handle. This is a little different than my old one there. This whole carriage is different. Then we got the handle here. Doesn't have any weight on it, so it doesn't want to go down good. Got that on, then installed. This is something new on this mill compared to my old 29, is it has a linear guide bearing instead of like just a handle and blade guide. That's different. So that's kind of cool. We put the blade guides on. From there, I hadn't looked yet. I think I'm starting to put some electronics or something on next. So that's that. We got to figure out what plate goes here for the cover. Don't want to roll that off the end because I don't know if you're familiar with these bearings, but if you roll them off the end, all the little bearings inside, which is like a billion of them, they can come rolling out. So this is a bearing retainer. It slides right into the little bearing instead of the rail. When you pull the H rail, pull it off the H rail, you can slide it right onto this to keep the bearings if you had to pull it off. But be careful, don't slide that bearing off because it is not secured in the bag or anything else. It can come off. So if it does, if you lose all your bearings, you'd be lucky if they all stay in. So we've already installed that thing, linear guide, blade tensioners, and it just jumps to electronics, which is weird, but whatever. When we'll go that route, we'll go ahead and start putting electronics in the tank and other things on. Well, this concludes day 3. We kind of got the carriage together. Well, it's all pretty much together. I just set the engine up on here and started the bolts. I hadn't tightened it down yet. But I got the blade tensioner on, engine, I got the water tank, emergency stop, the throttle handle. So there's the tensioner set up. It was kind of a pain. So we got all that together. Took a little longer. No fucking number. Installing the panels.